The dragoons of the 17th and 18th centuries were among the most emblematic examples of the adaptability of early modern armies, reflecting both the technological transformation brought about by firearms and the increasing strategic and logistical complexity of European warfare. Their origins lay in the urgent need to bridge the gap between infantry and cavalry at a moment when traditional heavy cavalry, once dominant on medieval battlefields, was becoming increasingly vulnerable to disciplined volleys of musket fire, while infantry, though powerful defensively, still lacked the speed required for rapid maneuvers across vast and fragmented theaters of war. Dragoons were conceived as a pragmatic and innovative solution to this dilemma. Soldiers trained primarily to fight on foot, like infantry, but provided with horses to dramatically increase their operational mobility. This dual identity profoundly shaped every aspect of their organization, from their mixed armament and flexible training to their highly adaptable tactical employment during campaigns. In the 17th century, dragoons were often recruited from robust, experienced, and resilient soldiers who could endure long marches, poor supplies, exposure to harsh weather, and frequent changes in role, as they were expected to dismount, occupy villages, woods, bridges, or high ground, form firing lines, and then quickly remount to pursue an enemy or withdraw before superior forces arrived. Their firearms, usually lighter muskets or carbines easier to manage on horseback, allowed them to deliver effective and sustained fire while remaining far more mobile than standard infantry units, and their swords ensured they were capable of defending themselves in close combat, especially during chaotic encounters or surprise engagements. On the battlefield, dragoons were commonly employed to secure key terrain before the main army arrived, disrupt enemy formations through harassment and skirmishing, protect vulnerable flanks, and guard artillery, baggage trains, and lines of communication, making them indispensable in both offensive advances and defensive withdrawals. Beyond pitched battles, dragoons proved particularly valuable in the kind of limited, often indecisive warfare that characterized much of the 17th century, including raids, sieges, counter-sieges, and border conflicts, where speed, initiative, and local superiority frequently mattered more than sheer numbers or decisive engagements. As military institutions evolved during the 18th century, with the rise of permanent standing armies, centralized state control, and increasingly formalized drill systems, the role of dragoons gradually shifted and expanded. In many armies, they began to resemble conventional cavalry more closely, being trained to fight in formation on horseback and to execute mounted charges when required, while still retaining the ability to dismount and fight as infantry in difficult terrain or defensive situations. This evolution was driven by changes in equipment, such as improved saddles, standardized firearms, and better horse breeding, as well as by the desire of centralized states to simplify military organization and reduce the number of highly specialized troop types. Dragoons also became more visibly integrated into the symbolic and social fabric of the military, with distinctive uniforms, colorful facings, regimental insignia, and strong traditions that fostered unit pride and cohesion. And in some countries, they developed reputations as elite or semi-elite troops. At the same time, their speed and flexibility made them a key instrument of state authority beyond the battlefield, as they were frequently used for internal security, the suppression of revolts, the enforcement of royal policies, and the control of occupied or restive territories, roles that often brought them into direct and sometimes harsh contact with civilian populations, shaping their image as both protectors and enforcers of state power. Their extensive deployment in major conflicts, such as the War of the Spanish Succession, the War of the Austrian Succession, and the 7 Years' War, clearly demonstrated their strategic value,
as they could rapidly reinforce threatened sectors, exploit breakthroughs, pursue retreating enemies, or respond effectively to unexpected developments during long and complex campaigns. By the late 18th century, although the original concept of dragoons as primarily mounted infantry had largely been absorbed into broader cavalry doctrines and distinctions between mounted troop types had begun to blur, their historical importance remained unmistakable, as they had played a crucial role in shaping a more flexible, mobile, and professional style of warfare that directly paved the way for the military systems and doctrines of the 19th century.